Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare quarter-dollar coins, cause some of these coins hold an incredible history, and some are worth millions. So today, we are gonna uncover the rarest varieties and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're diving into a coin that's not only a piece of American history, but also a rare gem that could be worth a small fortune if you happen to have one lying around. Yes, we're talking about the 1965 United States quarter dollar. You might think it's just another quarter, but trust us, this one has a story to tell, and its value is much higher than you might expect. Stick with us as we uncover the hidden value of this coin, and you'll be amazed at what it could be worth today. Now, let's take a step back and set the scene. The year 1965 was a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage history. In that year, the United States underwent a major change in the composition of its coins. Prior to 1965, quarters were made from 90% silver. But in 1965, due to a shortage of silver and rising costs, the U.S. Mint decided to reduce the silver content of the quarter, replacing it with copper and nickel. This shift in metal composition marks a significant moment in American coin history, and the 1965 quarter became a key part of that transition. But here's where things get interesting. In the midst of this major shift, a very limited number of 1,965 quarters were mistakenly struck with the old, 90% silver content. These coins, often referred to as the Silver Era quarters, are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. What makes them even more intriguing is that they were distributed into circulation just like the regular copper-nickel quarters, meaning they were used in daily transactions without anyone realizing their true value. So how do you know if you found one of these rare Silver Era quarters? The first step is to check the weight. A regular 1965 quarter made of copper-nickel weighs about 5.67 grams, but the silver version weighs around 6.25 grams, just like the old silver quarters. If your quarter feels a little heavier than expected, you might just be holding on to a rare treasure. Another way to verify is through the sound test. If you drop the coin and it makes a higher pitched sound compared to a normal quarter, that's a good sign it could be silver. But let's get to the good part, the value. A regular 1965 quarter, made of copper and nickel, is worth just 25 cents. But if you've got one of those rare 1965 Silver Era quarters in your collection, it's worth a lot more. Depending on its condition, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Some of these era coins have been sold at auctions for astonishing prices, and the highest prices can reach up to $77,000. Yes, you heard that right, $77,000. This incredible price tag is due to the extreme rarity of these Silver Era quarters. Since they were produced in error and only a small number of them were released into circulation, finding one in good condition is a huge deal. If you're lucky enough to have one of these coins, not only do you own a piece of history, but you also possess a coin that could be worth far more than its face value. Now, what makes this even more fascinating is that the rarity of these Silver Era quarters has increased over time. As collectors and enthusiasts become more aware of these valuable coins, the demand for them continues to rise. The scarcity of high-quality, well-preserved Silver Era quarters only adds to their allure, making them a must-have item for serious coin collectors. For those of you who are passionate about coin collecting, or even just casual collectors, the 1965 Silver Era quarter is a perfect example of how a simple mistake at the U.S. Mint can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary find. And remember, the key to getting top dollar for your coin is ensuring it's in great condition. The more pristine your coin is, the higher its value. Coins that have been kept in excellent shape, without any scratches, dings, or discoloration, will always fetch a better price at auction. If you're still not sure whether your 1965 quarter is the Silver Era variety, it's a good idea to take it to a professional coin appraiser. They'll be able to accurately identify if it's the rare, valuable coin or just a regular issue. It's always worth getting a second opinion from an expert, especially if you're considering selling it or adding it to your collection. So, what's the takeaway here? If you've got a 1965 quarter sitting around, don't just toss it in the jar with your spare change. Give it a closer look. If you've got one of these rare Silver Era quarters, you could be sitting on a small fortune. You never know, what seemed like an ordinary coin could be the key to unlocking an unexpected treasure. In conclusion, The 1965 United States quarter dollar is a great example of how a small mistake in coin production can lead to a highly valuable collector's item. If you find one of these silver error quarters, you could be looking at a piece worth $77,000. That's not just pocket change, it's a significant amount of money, and all because of a simple error that occurred over 50 years ago. The next time you're going through your coin collection, remember to check for those little-known treasures. You might just have something worth far more than you think. Top 2, we're going to dive deep into a coin that could be hiding in your collection or even in your loose change. That could be worth an incredible amount of money. We're talking about the 1974 United States quarter dollar. Now, this might sound like just another ordinary quarter, but trust us when we say it's anything but. By the end of this video, you'll have a whole new appreciation for this coin and the amazing potential it holds. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's see if your 1974 quarter could be worth a small fortune. First, let's set the stage. The year 1974 was an interesting time in American history. The United States was in the midst of some significant political changes, with the country reeling from the aftermath of the Watergate scandal. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins for everyday use, including the quarter. The 1974 quarter was part of this regular issue, but there's more to the story than just a simple coin. The design of the 1974 quarter is familiar to anyone who's ever held a U.S. quarter. On the obverse side, we have the iconic portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Designed by John Flanagan, this image has graced the quarter since 1932. You'll find Washington's profile facing left, with the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" etched around his image. Beneath him, the year 1974 is inscribed, indicating when this coin was minted. Now, when you flip the coin over to the reverse side, you'll see the familiar design of an eagle perched on a branch, wings outstretched. The eagle represents the strength and unity of the United States, and the design has been used on U.S. quarters for decades. You'll also find the words United States of America and quarter dollar on the reverse, along with the stunning depiction of this proud national symbol. This design was first introduced in 1932 and has remained unchanged for most of the 20th century, making it one of the most recognizable coin designs in history. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is just another 1974 quarter, so why is it so special? Well, here's where things get interesting. While the 1974 quarter was produced in large quantities, it was still struck in the same 75% copper and 25% nickel composition as previous years. This composition was standard for quarters, but the 1974 coin stands out in the world of numismatics for a couple of key reasons. First, let's talk about condition. Most 1974 quarters you come across will likely be well worn from decades of circulation. After all, these coins were in the pockets, purses, and wallets of everyday Americans. But the true value of a coin is often determined by its condition, specifically, whether it has remained in pristine, uncirculated condition. This is where the rarity comes in. Coins that have been kept in mint condition, free from scratches, dings, or signs of wear, are much more valuable than their circulated counterparts. A quarter that looks as though it just came off the mint press could be worth significantly more, especially if it's been stored carefully over the years. But that's not the only factor that can affect the value of a 1974 quarter. Like many other coins, there are a few that have been struck with minting errors. These errors can make a coin much rarer and more valuable to collectors. Some of the most common minting errors include double strikes, off-center designs, or coins that are missing certain features, like part of the inscription or image. If you happen to come across a 1974 quarter with a minting error, you could be sitting on a rare gem that's worth far more than face value. Additionally, the mint mark on your 1974 quarter can influence its value. The mint mark indicates where the coin was minted, either in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, the letter D, or San Francisco, the letter S. While the 1974 quarter was produced in high numbers at the Denver and Philadelphia mints, the San Francisco version, which was made as proof sets, is much rarer and could fetch a higher price in the market. But here's where the magic happens. You may have a 1974 quarter that has all of these qualities. Imagine you've found one in pristine, uncirculated condition. Or maybe you've discovered a rare minting error or a coin with the coveted S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint. What does that mean for the coin's value? Well, it could mean you're holding on to a very valuable piece of American history. So, what can you expect to get for your 1974 quarter? If your coin is in exceptional condition or has a rare minting error, it could be worth a substantial amount of money. A 1974 quarter in uncirculated condition, especially one with a rare minting flaw, could fetch up to $75,000. Yes, you heard that right. $75,000 for a single quarter. This is the kind of value you can expect for a well-preserved or error-struck 1974 quarter. It's a staggering amount of money for something that was once just pocket change. Now, of course, not every 1974 quarter is going to be worth that much. The vast majority will be worth only their face value or slightly more due to the silver content. But for those that stand out because of their condition, rarity, or minting errors, the potential value is truly remarkable. So, it's definitely worth your time to check your own collection or loose change for this potentially valuable coin. If you think you found a 1974 quarter that might be worth something special, it's a good idea to have it appraised by a professional numismatist or coin dealer. They can help you determine whether it's a rare version of the coin and give you an idea of its market value. Whether you decide to hold on to it as a valuable investment or sell it, you'll be holding a piece of history that could potentially make you a small fortune. Top 3, we're taking a deep dive into a coin that might just be hiding in your collection or even in your pocket change. We're talking about the 1983 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin may seem like just another typical quarter, but trust me, there's much more to it than meets the eye. Stick around to the end, because we're going to reveal just how much this seemingly ordinary quarter is worth today, and it might just blow your mind. Let's start by taking a trip back to 1983. It was a year of significant cultural and political events. The United States was in the midst of economic recovery, and the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins for circulation. In fact, the 1983 quarter was part of the regular coinage series, and it was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition. But while this quarter was made to be used in everyday transactions, it would eventually become a sought-after coin in the world of numismatics, especially for collectors with a keen eye for rarity. The design of the 1983 quarter is consistent with the traditional design that was used for decades. On the obverse side, you'll find the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Washington, as the first president of the United States, has been the face of the quarter since 1932. His profile faces left, and the inscription Liberty arches above his head, while the phrase In God We Trust is placed to the right. Below Washington's portrait, you'll find the year 1983, marking the year the coin was minted. On the reverse side, you'll find the image of an eagle perched on a branch, with its wings spread wide. The eagle is a symbol of strength, freedom, and resilience, which is why it's been the focal point of the reverse side of the quarter since 1932. Surrounding the eagle, you'll see the words United States of America along the top and quarter dollar beneath it. This reverse design has remained unchanged for decades, making it one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. So, what makes the 1983 quarter so special in the world of coin collecting? Well, it all comes down to a few factors. First, it's important to note that the 1983 quarter, just like many other coins, was produced in large numbers. The U.S. Mint created millions of them, so you might be thinking, what's the big deal about this quarter? The key lies in finding one that is in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins that have been handled and circulated over time tend to show signs of wear and tear, scratches, dings, and faded designs. However, coins that have been kept in mint condition, untouched by the hands of circulation, are far rarer and much more valuable. If you happen to find a 1983 quarter that is in exceptional condition, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. A well-preserved 1983 quarter, free of any damage or signs of use, could be worth significantly more than its face value. In fact, a coin in perfect, uncirculated condition could command a much higher price on the open market. But that's not the only thing that could make a 1983 quarter more valuable. There's also the possibility of finding a rare minting error. Minting errors happen when the coin is struck improperly during production, and these types of errors are highly sought after by collectors. Some of the most common errors include misaligned dies, double strikes, or coins that are missing certain elements. If your 1983 quarter has any kind of noticeable minting flaw, it could be worth far more than a standard, well-circulated coin. Additionally, the The mint mark on your 1983 quarter can play a role in its value. Mint marks indicate where the coin was minted: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Most of the 1983 quarters were struck in Denver, but there are also a few coins that were minted in Philadelphia. While the differences in mint marks are often subtle, they can make a big impact on the value of the coin, especially if you have a rare variety that's in great condition. So, what are we talking about when it comes to the value of the 1983 quarter? The value of this coin largely depends on its condition and rarity. If you come across a 1983 quarter that is in uncirculated condition, especially one that has been well preserved and remains in pristine shape, you could be looking at a much higher value than just 25 cents. For a quarter that's in top condition, and especially if it has a minting error or is a rare variety, it could be worth up to an astonishing $71,000. That's right, $71,000 for a single 1983 quarter. It's amazing how a coin that you might overlook could potentially be worth a small fortune. Now, don't get too discouraged if you don't have a 1983 quarter in perfect condition or with a rare minting error. While those specific coins may be harder to come by, it's still worth checking through your collection to see if you have any that are in good condition. Even a 1983 quarter that's in decent shape could be worth a little bit more than its face value, especially if it's a rare mint mark variety. If you think you have a 1983 quarter that could be worth more than just a quarter, the best next step is to get it appraised. A professional numismatist or coin dealer can help you determine the true value of the coin based on its condition, rarity, and any potential minting errors. They'll be able to guide you on how to sell it if you choose to do so. So, there you have it. The 1983 quarter is far more than just a coin. It could be a hidden treasure worth a small fortune. Top 4 will explore the fascinating world of the 1994 United States quarter dollar and uncover how much it could really be worth. It might surprise you. Stay tuned because, by the end of this video, we'll reveal a price that will make you want to check your pockets and collections. Let's jump right in. Let's begin with a little history. The 1994 quarter dollar was part of the regular series of quarters produced by the United States Mint during that year. If you were around in 1994, you might remember it as a year filled with significant events like the end of the Cold War and the rise of the tech boom in Silicon Valley. But while the world was changing rapidly, the U.S. Mint was busy continuing its tradition of issuing coins for everyday use. The 1994 quarter wasn't any different at first glance, but over time, it would gain more attention in the world of coin collectors. The design of the 1994 quarter is part of the long-standing tradition of featuring George Washington on the obverse side. This iconic design, created by John Flanagan, shows Washington facing left in profile. Surrounding his image are the words "Liberty," the date 1994, and the motto "In God We Trust." On the reverse side, the eagle is perched on a branch, symbolizing strength and the spirit of the United States. It's a design that's been around since 1932 and is instantly recognizable to anyone who's ever handled a quarter. But what makes the 1994 quarter stand out in the world of numismatics? Well, while this coin was produced in large quantities, millions of them, in fact, it's important to note that there are a few factors that can make a particular 1994 quarter worth far more than its face value. First, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. Most of the 1994 quarters you come across will likely show some signs of wear and tear, scratches, dings, and discoloration due to years of circulation. However, there are certain quarters that have been well preserved, stored in pristine condition, or even untouched by circulation. These coins, often called uncirculated coins, can be worth far more than their face value. So, if you happen to have a 1994 quarter that looks as if it's just been minted, you're in luck. It could be worth a great deal more than 25 cents. But there's another factor that can really make a 1994 quarter stand out from the rest: minting errors. Minting errors are just as they sound, mistakes made during the coin's production process. These mistakes can make a coin rare, and rarity equals value. For example, some 1994 quarters were struck with off-center designs, while others have misaligned dies or double strikes. These minting errors are highly sought after by collectors because they are unique and rare. If you happen to find a 1994 quarter with one of these minting errors, it could easily be worth much more than a regular, uncirculated quarter. Now, there's also the issue of the mint mark. The mint mark tells you where the coin was produced: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Most of the 1994 quarters were minted in Denver, and these are the most common. But the ones struck in Philadelphia, particularly those without a mint mark, are considered to be a little rarer. This slight difference can also affect the value of the coin, especially if it's in pristine condition or has any type of error. Now, imagine that you have a 1994 quarter in flawless condition. Or better yet, let's say it has one of those rare minting errors. Maybe it's a double strike, or the design is off-center. What does this mean for its value? Well, here's where things get exciting. If your 1994 quarter is in top-tier condition and you have one of those special error varieties, you could be looking at a value far beyond just 25 cents. A coin in perfect, uncirculated condition with a minting error could be worth up to $67,000. Yes, you heard that right, $67,000 for a single 1994 quarter. That's a staggering amount for a coin that was once just pocket change. Now, I know what you're thinking. How is that possible? Isn't this just a regular quarter? The key is in the rarity and the condition. Not every 1994 quarter will fetch that kind of money, but for those that stand out, whether due to minting errors or their exceptional condition, the market for these coins can be incredibly lucrative. If you've got one that fits the bill, then you've got a treasure on your hands. So, what's the best way to go about checking if your 1994 quarter is valuable? The first step is to carefully examine its condition. If it looks worn down, then unfortunately, it's likely worth just its face value. But if it's been well kept and has little to no signs of use, it could be worth a lot more. Pay close attention to the details on the coin. Check for any unusual features, like a misalignment or other oddities that might suggest a minting error. If you think your coin is worth something special, it's a good idea to get it appraised by a professional numismatist. These experts can help you determine whether you've found a valuable gem or just a common coin. They can also tell you if your quarter has any rare minting flaws or if it's an exceptionally well-preserved specimen. So, there you have it. The 1994 quarter might seem like a simple coin, but when it comes to rare and valuable coins, you just never know what's lurking in your collection or your spare change. A pristine 1994 quarter with a minting error could be worth a jaw-dropping $67,000. Imagine turning over a coin that's worth so much more than face value. It's enough to get any coin collector's heart racing. Top 5, we're talking about a coin you might have in your collection right now, or maybe it's hiding in your spare change. Yes, you guessed it. We're diving into the 1997 United States quarter dollar and uncovering its hidden potential value. If you've got one of these coins lying around, you won't want to miss what we have to say. Stick with us until the end because the price reveal will leave you in shock. Now, let's go back in time to 1997. It was a year full of significant events, from the release of the first Harry Potter book to the launch of the iconic movie Titanic. While the world was watching these monumental moments unfold, the U.S. Mint was busy minting millions of quarters for circulation. The 1997 quarter, just like any other quarter at the time, was part of the regular circulation series, and it didn't necessarily attract much attention when it was first released. But over the years, this coin has captured the eyes of collectors and numismatists for some very interesting reasons. Let's take a closer look at the design. The 1997 quarter, like many quarters from the 20th century, features the famous image of George Washington, the first president of the United States. On the obverse side, you'll see a profile of Washington's face, designed by John Flanagan. Above Washington's head, the word Liberty is boldly displayed, along with the year 1997 and the phrase "In God We Trust" on the right side. This portrait of Washington has been a symbol of the quarter since 1932, and its classic design is still highly recognizable today. On the reverse side, the eagle stands as the central figure, symbolizing the strength and resilience of the United States. The eagle is perched on an olive branch, with its wings spread wide. This design has been part of the quarter's look for decades, and it carries deep meaning for Americans, representing freedom, courage, and patriotism. Surrounding the eagle are the words United States of America and quarter dollar, clearly marking the coin's denomination. At first glance, this 1997 quarter might seem like just another coin in your pocket. But there's more to it than meets the eye. So what exactly makes the 1997 quarter special, and why is it something collectors are so eager to get their hands on? As with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. The vast majority of 1997 quarters you'll encounter were circulated heavily, meaning they've been through years of handling, wear, and tear. This is perfectly normal for coins that were used for daily transactions. However, if you come across a 1997 quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition, you may be looking at something truly special. Uncirculated coins are those that have never been used in circulation and show little to no signs of wear. These coins are far rarer than their well-worn counterparts, and as such, they can be worth a lot more than just their face value of 25 cents. But it doesn't stop there. Collectors also pay close attention to coins that feature unique minting errors. Minting errors occur when there is a mistake during the production of a coin, and these errors can significantly increase the value of a coin. For example, some 1997 quarters were struck with misaligned dies, which means the design on the coin is shifted slightly. Others may have double strikes, or the coins could have small die cracks that make them stand out from the rest. These minting errors are highly sought after by collectors because they make each coin unique. Another important factor that can affect the value of the 1997 quarter is the mint mark. The mint mark tells you where the coin was produced, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Most of the 1997 quarters were minted in Denver, so you'll typically find a D mint mark on these coins. However, some quarters were struck in Philadelphia or San Francisco, and these can be a bit rare. If you happen to have a 1997 quarter minted in Philadelphia, or if you have a quarter with a rare mint mark error, you might just be sitting on a coin that's worth more than you think. But here's the exciting part. The value of the 1997 quarter isn't just limited to the mint marks or the condition of the coin. If you happen to have an uncirculated 1997 quarter in exceptional condition, or one with a minting error, you could be looking at a price that's far beyond face value. How much, you ask? Well, if you find a 1997 quarter that's in mint condition or has a rare error, it could fetch an impressive $63,000. Yes, you heard that right, $63,000 for a single quarter. Now, you might be wondering, how is that even possible for a coin that was just part of regular circulation in 1997? The truth is, coin collecting is all about rarity and condition. While millions of these quarters were minted and circulated, only a select few remain in perfect condition or have rare minting errors. That's why finding one of these coins can result in a massive payout. If you think you found a 1997 quarter with a rare mint mark or an interesting error, the next step is to have it appraised. A professional numismatist or coin dealer will be able to give you an accurate evaluation of its value. They can also help you determine if the coin is worth holding onto for a potential sale or auction. Now that you know just how much a 1997 quarter could be worth, it's time to go through your coin collection or even take a peek at the quarters in your change jar. Who knows? You might just have a small treasure hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any exciting coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.